Good afternoon or good evening, everybody. Welcome to Guts and Butts. My name is Sam, and I will be your instructor for today's core and glutes and lower body workouts. As always, we are about to get into our warm-up, so be sure you have enough space to work with. Do that area check. Make sure that you can take a big step forward, big step backward, and side to side. Also, be sure that you have your water handy. Today, I will be using just any weight. I have a weight plate here. I'll just use one. So if you'd like to grab any type of household object or any weight at the gym, or you can just do this workout with your body weight is awesome as well. So getting everything ready and together, we are about to get into our warm-up first. So, which is just your body weight. So stand on up if you aren't already. And we are just going to start by getting the body moving nice and easy with a march in place with high knees. We're bringing the knees up high as far as we're comfortable, pumping the arms, trying to stay mainly on our toes, keeping the core nice and tight, taking deep breaths, going at whatever pace we're comfortable with here. And next up, taking that heel back straight to our glutes. Warming up the knees and the legs here. The heart rate is going to get up. Let's go into a jog in place. So again, here, just picking our feet up off of the ground, pumping our arms, keeping the core nice and tight, and remembering to breathe. Deep breaths. Let's go straight into some jumping jacks. Keep getting those shoulders involved. If you'd like to just do a side-to-side step, then that is an option as well. Deep breaths. Go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back to center. Slowing it down. We're going to go into our elephant stretch. Sitting the hips back, slight bend in that knee. Then scoop towards the ground and up to the ceiling. Feeling that stretch in the back of our legs and the hamstrings and in our glutes. Deep breaths. Give me one more each side. Last one here. Alrighty, next up, going into some arm circles. Taking big circles back first. Keeping the palms nice and stiff, facing outwards. Feeling the stretch in the shoulders, chest, upper back. And let's go forwards. Taking deep breaths, standing up nice and tall. Big circles, warming up those shoulders. Slowing it down, let's take that arm across. Big squeeze, rotate, and alternate sides. Just holding it for about a few seconds there. Do one more on each side. Feeling this in the upper back. Alrighty, next up, we're just going to warm up more of our glutes and lower body, knees and the hips with some air squats. So getting into that squat position, feet are a bit wider than shoulder width. We're sitting back into our heels, into our hips. So feet stay nice and flat, shoulders stay open, knees with our toes. Back up, squeezing our glutes. Let's do about 10 to 15 repetitions here. Sitting back and squeezing the glutes up. So loosening up those muscles, getting them activated, warming up the knees and our hips here. Sitting back, keeping the torso stacked, so trying to still sit up nice and tall. And only coming down as low as we're comfortable. Pressing the knees outwards, fighting that force. They're going to want to fall in. Do about 3 more here. Deep squeeze the glutes. Last one. And back up. Good job, guys. Shake it out. Have some fun. And we are going to get into our circuit today. It will be more circuit style like last week. So I will go through about 5 to 6 movements, all focused on our lower body glutes and the core, the stability muscles. And we'll go through them back to back, have a longer rest, and then repeat that circuit. By all means, get water as you guys need it. Take breaks as you need it. We'll listen to your bodies throughout class while I'm explaining and cueing a bunch of the movements and essentially rambling. Then you can get water and take some deep breaths before we get into the next movement. But it will be pretty back to back. So yeah, we are going to get into the first movement of our circuit. So grab some water, grab that object or that weight if we're using it. If not, just having our body weight ready. Alrighty guys, first movement here, we have a curtsy lunge. So that is a type of lunge variation where we are stepping back. If we're using weight, we can just hold that weight nice and firmly at chest or on the shoulders. We're starting by standing up nice and tall, feet under our hips so the legs are nice and straight. Having a slight bend in our knees, we're going to stay low throughout the whole movement. So staying here, when we come up, let's step back, diagonal lunge, back to center, staying low, and alternate sides. So while staying low here, we want to have a slight bend in our knees. We're sitting the hips back and being sure we're tucking the stomach in and keeping it nice and tight so the back is super flat. So we don't have any crazy arch or caving in up our spine, but it's nice and flat. We're looking straight ahead of us, stepping diagonally back to center, and alternate. So having that step be nice and wide so the knee stays behind our toes here. We're going to be here for 40 seconds, alternating from right to left with that curtsy lunge. Whenever you are ready, slight bend in those knees, and let's go. Wide step back, stay low, meet in the middle, and wide step back. That front foot should stay nice and flat, back toes just coming down as you control and lower that knee towards the ground. The knee does not have to touch the floor. We like to just do a quarter curtsy lunge, then that is perfectly fine, guys. Do whatever your body is comfortable with for 10 more seconds. We're working the lower body, the glutes, and the quads here in our thighs. Go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Back to center, stand on up nice and tall. Next up, we're going to go into some squat jumps, but here we're meeting in the middle. So we're stepping out, getting into that squat stance, squatting down, jump back, feet together, and back out. So here, again, optional weight. If we're using it, it's at chest or on our shoulders. So starting with the feet close together, standing up nice and tall, jumping out into that squat stance, sitting back into our squat, coming up, jumping back in. 40 seconds here. Remember to breathe. And let's go. Jumping out, sitting back, and back in. Going at whatever pace your body is comfortable with. If we prefer not to jump, then we can step in and step 1. Woo! Shake those legs out. Next up, we're going to be going into a clamshell workout here. So here we're going to be lying on our side, down on our forearm. So being sure that the shoulder is in alignment with our elbow. Our knees are going to be together. Feet are together. Here we're opening our legs up, knee to the ceiling, and closing them back together. Here we have the option of adding weight onto our leg. Sitting right here, opening up, and back to center. If not, we're just using our body weight or resistance band, maybe if we have that. So we're going to do this on the right side for 20 seconds, so switching over to the left side. Fingertips down, chest is nice and open, and let's go. Controlling the knee outward, straight to the ceiling, and back down. So nice and controlled in this movement. Feeling that burn in our outer glutes, in that outer right glute. Being sure we're holding that weight down so it doesn't fall. Give me 10 more seconds here. Big inhale out. Exhale, control the knees back together. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switching sides, so switching onto our opposite side. For me, it's the right side, and we're working that left leg and glute. So again, we're down, elbow under our shoulder, fingertips flat, so palm is nice and flat. Our knees are bent together, feet are together. Optional weight on our hips. 20 seconds here, and let's go. Opening the knees up nice and wide, keeping the feet together, and back, closing the knees. Nice and controlled. Feeling this work in our outer glutes. Big inhale, open, knee comes to ceiling. Exhale, close. Less than 10 seconds left. Go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Close those knees back together. Next up, working a little bit more lower body and the core. We're going to go into a plank to squat hold complex. So here, weight again is optional for using it. It's right underneath of our chest in that plank position. So here, we're going to be starting at a plank, stepping or jumping up, holding this squat, and back down. Into this plank, back up, we're sitting the hips back, plate comes up, and back down into our plank. Only holding that plank for about 1 to 2 seconds. So jumping or stepping out, holding this here, jumping or stepping up, and holding this squat here. Only holding the plank in the squat for about 1 to 3 seconds. So we are going to go back and forth from plank to squat, staying low in that squat, remembering our plank position, placing the hands back under our shoulders, and keeping the glutes and core nice and tight. Back is flat. So going from the plank to the squat, 40 seconds, starting down, and let's go. Stepping or jumping out, holding that squat, and back out in the plank. bracing our core, squeezing the glutes. Deep breaths. We're halfway there. Woo! Feet are nice and flat. The legs should be burning. Give me 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can stand on up. Woo! Alrighty, guys, almost there. We've got a few more movements, and then we are gonna rest. Next up, working more of our core, we've got a single arm movement with the rotation, the torso rotation. So using that weight, if we've got it, we are going to start from left hip and bring that weight up to right shoulder, controlling it back down. So 20 seconds here, then we are going to switch that diagonal line from right hip to left shoulder. So 20 seconds each side, and let's go. Coming up, reaching towards the ceiling, rotating that torso, back down, and rotating it towards the left hip. We're nice and controlled here. Controlling that weight in hand, keeping a slight bend in our elbows. 10 more seconds, and we're going to switch sides. Deep breaths, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Straight from the right hip to left shoulder. Let's go. Reaching it all the way up and controlling it all the way down, rotating the torso. Feeling it a bit in our shoulders here as well if we've got weight. Strengthening those stability muscles in the core. 10 more seconds, and we've got a water break. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We can drop that weight. Woo! Let's take some deep breaths, grab some water, maybe stretch it out just a bit, reaching to the side, to the other side, and getting yourself some water. We're going to go into repeating all 5 of those movements in just a few seconds, so taking this time to get some water, take some deep breaths, maybe turn that fan on, and check in with our bodies. How did that first time around, or that first circuit feel for us? Do we want to take that weight off, add more weight, lower the intensity, or up that intensity? So taking these few seconds to think about that and getting some water. Spilled this on myself. Alrighty, guys, we're gonna get back into those curtsy lunges, nice and low. So going through this whole circuit again, one more time around. So it'll be a bit quicker now that we know our movements. So weight in hand or at shoulders, or body weight, remembering feet are under the hips and knees. So legs are nice and straight. Slight bend in our knees, we're sitting the hips back, core is tight, back is flat, staying low, diagonal lunge right, back to center, diagonal lunge left. 40 seconds, and let's go. Wide step back, front foot stays nice and flat, chest is open, core is tight. Feeling this in our glutes, in the bum and the legs here, mainly in the quads, in our thighs. Over halfway there. Stay low. Deep breaths. 10 more seconds. We're nice and controlled. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can stand on up, nice and tall. Next up, going into that squat jump. So remember, we're starting feet close, jumping out to that squat, squatting down, jumping back in the middle, standing up nice and tall. 40 seconds, and let's go. Out, squatting, back in. Make sure the feet stay nice and flat. Sitting back into our hips and our heels. Option to just walk back to center and walk out into our squat. So we make sure our position's nice and right. Or we're jumping. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back to center. Woo! Next up, so going back into those clamshells. So we're on the ground in that side plank position somewhat. So option of being on the hand or coming down onto our forearms. The knees are together, feet are together, chest is open, weight on the hip is optional. We're opening that knee up and closing it back together. 20 seconds each side, starting with the right leg. And let's go. Opening it up as far as we're comfortable and closing it. Holding it at the top for about a second and controlling it back down. Feeling this in our outer or side glute. Keeping the chest open. Core is tight. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Control the leg down. Switching sides. Working the left leg next. So down the forearm, arms nice and straight. Elbow under shoulder. Feet and knees together. Optional weight. And let's go. Opening the knees up. And closing them like a clamshell here. So feet stay together. They're that hinge. And only moving that knee, trying to get it straight up to the ceiling. And back down. Halfway there. Squeezing our glutes, core is nice and tight. Deep breaths. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Closing the legs. Dropping that weight. Next up, back into that plank with the squat hold. So getting that core activated and working more glutes and the legs. We're gonna have 40 seconds here. Remembering we're starting in that plank, so wrists under shoulders, fingertips pressed down, core, glutes nice and tight, back is flat. Either jumping or stepping up into our squat position. We're sitting the hips back, grabbing that weight and opening the chest. Back out into our plank. Holding it for about 2 seconds, and we're back to the squat hold. So 40 seconds here, back and forth. And let's go. Up into that squat hold. 2 seconds, back out into our plank. Following this sequence, we're nice and controlled, keeping the core tight. Squeezing our glutes. Back is nice and flat. You're about halfway there. Deep breaths. Woo! Feel this in my legs and that core. on up. Whew. Last movement. We're going into that ab rotation. We can do this standing, or I like to be on my knees here. We're sitting up nice and tall, chest is open, weight in hand, starting left hip to right shoulder. 20 seconds, and let's go. Using the strength of our abs to bring that weight to the ceiling, controlling it back to the hip. So moving diagonally with that weight, rotating the torso. Halfway there, we're gonna switch sides. Keeping a slight bend in the elbows. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Straight into the opposite side, right hip, left shoulder. Let's go, reaching that weight up and controlling it down. Don't let the weight control you. You control that weight. Using the strength of your shoulders and core here. Rotating all the way towards that hip and all the way towards that shoulder. Less than 10 seconds. Deep breaths. 5, 4, 3, 2, and control it down. Woo, we can drop that weight. Let's grab some water. We are gonna cool it down now. So lowering that heart rate, stretching out our muscles, and relaxing our bodies. We are just going to start here by sitting up nice and tall, opening our chest, having our legs out in front of us. We're going to reach to one side, coming down onto our forearm. We like to get into that stretch deeper. Feeling this stretch in our upper back, the armpit, and our side. And we can switch sides, come back up, and reaching towards the opposite side, coming down on the forearm if we like to feel that stretch a bit deeper. Again, coming back up to center, and then reaching towards our feet, towards those toes, feeling this stretch in the back of our legs and the hamstrings, and in our back. Make sure we're taking deep breaths throughout these stretches, lowering our heart rate. You can sit back up. We're going to bring both feet in for a butterfly. So pressing the feet together. We're sitting up nice and tall. So trying to lengthen our spine and open our chest. And fluttering, pressing the knees downwards. As far as we're comfortable, feeling this stretch in our inner thighs. Deep breath. And whenever we're ready, we can take those feet out, laying on the ground on our backs. Having the legs extended. Low back is nice and flat, pressed into the ground. We're going to bring one knee in for a lying knee hug. So giving our knee a big hug, squeezing it into our chest, gradually squeezing it harder, feeling the stretch in our hips, glutes, and legs. And then when we're ready, taking that knee across the opposite side of the body and bringing it towards the ground, keeping those shoulder blades pressed down. So just rotating our hips and lower torso. Feeling the stretch of our glutes and the hips here. We can bring it back to center when we're ready. extending the leg back out. Back is nice and flat. Bringing the opposite knee into chest and giving it a big hug. Slowly squeezing it harder and harder. Feeling the stretch in the back of the leg, the glutes, the hips. And when we're ready, we can take that knee across to the opposite side of the body. Rotating, keeping the shoulder blades pressed down. Feeling that stretch in our lower spine, the glutes and the hips. Taking deep breaths. And bringing the knee back to center, laying the back flat, and extending the legs back out. Next, just flipping over onto our stomachs, rolling on over, bringing the hands by our shoulders. We're going to press the fingertips down and extend the arms up, laying the feet flat, rolling the shoulders back to open our chest, and stretching in this cobra. Stretching out our stomach and our core. Taking deep breaths. On your next big inhale, we're going to sit the hips back, open the knees a bit wider, and exhale into a child's pose. Rolling the fingertips out in front of us. Feeling this stretch in our hips and our upper back. Taking deep breaths. And whenever you are ready, we can sit back up, crisscross applesauce. And that is all I have for you guys this evening. Sorry for going a bit over time, but I hope you guys enjoyed today's workout or this evening's class in the Guts and Butts workout. My name is Sam, and I'm here every Monday through Thursday with either this Guts and Butts class or my Strength Circuits class. I hope you guys are having an awesome week and continue to have an awesome week. Finish it out strong before we have break next week, which is exciting. So if I don't talk to you again before break, I hope you have an awesome Thanksgiving break with friends and family or just yourself. And I will hopefully see you guys tomorrow for my Strength Circuits class at 12:30 in the afternoon. Alrighty guys, bye. Have a great evening.